Summer 2024 Anime Season Roundup. Hello, Ray Condomber here, and the time of the seasonal change for anime is among us once again. By coincidence, like last season, I watched 6 anime, 5 of which I finished and 1 that I dropped. Let's get into what I watched this season and what I plan to watch next season. There will be no serious plot-related spoilers for any of the series that I bring up. So first we have Dead Man's Demons DD Destruction. Inio Asano's works tend to be hard to explain. The easiest thing to say is that it was a very interesting watch. I enjoyed the exploration of human nature and society mixed with its sci-fi elements. The key theme of this one for me is the normalcy of life alongside crazy sci-fi events. It's human nature for people to become used to their surroundings, even with major changes. The exploration of this theme is very compelling and feels truly unique to the series. But this is one of those series that is not about clearly defined themes and messages. So sometimes it can be hard to get what the point of this series is, and that's true for a lot of his works. Whether that is good or not really is up to your own tastes. I tend to like some ambiguity that leaves the viewer to theorize and contemplate things on their own, but it does have to be done well. You can see my analysis on character secrets if you're interested in that broad topic. And clearly conveying your messages can absolutely be better in some cases. I think it does a mix of good, more good than not, and some that are a little worse. Goodnight Poon Poon is still my favorite work from Inio Asano, but I did greatly enjoy another foray into his strange and thought-provoking worlds. Next we have the Monogatari series, Off and Monster Season. I'm a big fan of the Monogatari series, and this season felt like the core essence of what makes Monogatari great. The characters in the Monogatari series are fantastic and have a great time, and you have a really great time exploring the already existing ones in this season, while it also introduces new characters that are immediately appealing and engaging, fun characters. This season has all the hits of Monogatari. It's hilarious with its witty dialogue and its unique brand of humor. It has diverse and beautiful art direction that the anime series has always been known for. Overall, the art and animation and fight scenes are absolutely excellent, and it tells very interesting stories with themes and events that meld perfectly with its characters for the most part. This is more great Monogatari. If you like Monogatari, you really don't want to miss this. Next, we're on to VTuber Legend. If you can't tell, am VTuber. So as a big fan of VTubers and a VTuber myself, I was very interested in seeing how someone adapts this space and content as the main focus. I plan to write a full review soon. That should be out within the week. So I'll include my non-spoiler thoughts here. This is an extremely authentic portrayal of the corporate VTuber space, such as Hololive, purely in a positive light. The energy, the lingo, the jokes, the events, etc. are completely spot on. You really feel the love for VTubers emanating from the screen as you watch this. And you see it in the production value as well, such as them using actual well-made live 2D models. I didn't enjoy it all the way through, but I do think it lost steam as it went on. A lot of the comedy was very funny, to me at least, like the degenerate humor and referential gags, but some bits were a bit overused and caters to some more specific niches. So honestly, this is a hard one to recommend. If you have tried VTuber content and it doesn't appeal to you, I cannot see this changing anything. I mentioned that I like the degen humor for the most part, but if sexual jokes are not for you, then steer clear of this. It is openly graphic about jokes and things along those lines. If you're already a big fan of corporate VTubers, you will likely enjoy the story that was clearly written by a fellow fan and just gushes love for this space. But it can feel so authentic at portraying VTubing that at times it genuinely feels like you are kind of just watching animated VTuber content, which could be exactly what you asked for. But it could also make you question why you don't just watch real VTuber content instead. It's so authentic that sometimes you genuinely just feel like you're watching actual VTuber content. And so that can be mixed. The non-VTuber fan group I do think I can recommend this to are people who are curious to get a glimpse of the VTuber space. I believe giving VTuber Legend the 3-episode treatment could give someone a solid impression of this side of the VTuber space. And that would be easier than trying to search through clips and videos online on your own. I didn't really enjoy this anime, as a lot of it fits my tastes, but it is not one that I would call especially memorable or outstanding. Next, on to Twilight Out of Focus. My Boys Love Virginity had been taken. As a romance, Twilight Out of Focus was very sweet and cute, with a great cast of characters. You get a variety of relationships and dynamics that are each distinct and enjoyable. The show also has great art and animation, while using its setting to great effect for the characters and the drama. If you want to see my in-depth thoughts, please see my full review, which is out on my website, and it is here. Even if you don't have a taste for BL specifically, if you just like romance, I highly recommend giving it a shot. Next, we move on to what's technically not complete, but is almost, and I'm going to include it because it wouldn't really fit to be included on next season, is MHA Season 7. The final season, as I said, is not over yet, so I'm not going to give any firm verdicts on the series as a whole, and I'm not going to mention the ending. I'll just give some broad feelings. I've been following MHA since anime first came out, with my interest peaking with seasons 1 and 2, lowering quite a decent amount as time went on, and then picking back up with season 5, and from there, I would call myself a genuine fan, but it never truly reached the heights as it was before, at least for my personal investment with the series. I do think it's a good series overall, but it has issues like pacing and stereotypical anime action, convenience kind of stuff, which I'm not a huge fan of. I honestly think the main conflict between One for All and All for One is not as great as the secondary plots, like the Todoroki family and the stuff they do with the League of Villains. So, specifically getting to Season 7. So far, Season 7 has some really great stuff that I'm a huge fan of, but also some stuff that is the complete opposite. The emotions don't hit as hard for me as I wish they did, because it's gone on for so long and my investment never fully returned. Perhaps when it's over, I'll write on the series as a whole, which would include the ending, or maybe I'll do a focused analysis on it. No promises, but I am considering doing that. But conclusion, I like this series and I have mixed feelings on it, and so far with Season 7, it is relatively the same. There's some great concluding stuff, but there's also some stuff that I think could have been done in a better way. MHA Season 7 is more my hero. If you like MHA, or want to stick it out to the end, there is some good stuff here. But if you got tired of MHA and you dropped it partway through, I wouldn't say that anything I've seen in Season 7 is like so amazing that you gotta pick it back up. I would not go that far, but overall I still am enjoying it. Now on to Shikanoko. I won't go into too much detail here, as I already wrote about dropping Shikanoko no Kono Koshi Tantan. It has some great gags that live up to the hype set for it, both in part by the fans, but in part by the series as well, really advertising those funny, memey aspects. But for a pure comedy, it was not funny often enough for me to feel watching the whole season and sitting through entire episodes was worth it. It's not an objectively bad anime. It just did not appeal enough to me to make up for not offering anything else as a story. I got plenty of comedy between the other series here for me to feel like I was satisfied. If you want to see any comedy, you should give it a try. A lot of people liked it more than me, but I know I'm not alone in this feeling too. So if you're really into just pure comedies, I would say give it a shot. Give it a few episodes. And then see how long you can last. Maybe it'll fully be funny to you all the way through, or maybe like me, you'll think, without getting too specific, because I already have a focused review on it about how I dropped it. It just doesn't have enough going for it, and it's not funny enough to sustain itself, for me, to sustain my interest. And to bring it all together to a conclusion on summer 2024, I have some stuff I really liked. I liked the 5 of the 6, which is good. But I would put it as my least favorite of the seasons that I've covered as of right now, off the top of my head. Twilight Out of Focus was definitely my favorite. I was thoroughly surprised with how much I enjoyed it and got sucked into it. Monogatari Off-Season, I would say, is the best overall, but I want to give favorite to Twilight Out of Focus because the Monogatari series is something I've been following for years. I've been a fan of. It doesn't feel like a full comparison to compare that to something I just jumped into without really knowing anything and being blown away. But yeah, Monogatari Off-Season I think is the best thing. And Shikanoko I would say was the worst because it was just sadly disappointing. So now, looking into fall 2024. Moving into next season, first I'll start off by talking about Isekai, going into what I'm going to be watching. I'm a big fan of ReZero, so I will be watching the third season. It is my favorite Isekai, with Ascendance of a Bookworm and Konosuba filling out my top 3 if you're curious. I've been eagerly awaiting more, and I'm super hyped for it. And following up with Isekai, I saw the premiere of Loner Life in Another World at Anime NYC this year, and I was pleasantly surprised. I went into it not knowing it or planning to watch it beforehand. It was nothing incredible, but I had a fun time with the first episode. It had some solid gags, and I would like to see how the system it sets up is used as the story progresses. Parody isekai tend to be funny at first, but then fizzle out. Like that's how I felt with Overcautious Hero, for example. I genuinely enjoyed the first 2 episodes a lot, but it just got repetitive and lost interest for me. Or I think they can fall into the usual isekai tropes that they intended to parody once kind of going into what I just said. Following up with that, they end up fizzling out, and in an effort to try to keep the series going, they just end up doing the things they were parodying in the first place. So I think parody isekai have trouble staying good long term. But at least for Loner Life in Another World, it left a good enough impression for me to give this one a proper shot. So hopefully none of these issues comes to pass, and you'll see it on my list as finished, but we'll see. Hopefully I at least enjoy the first few episodes, and even if I drop it based on that, that's still something I can say I enjoyed, even if it's not in its entirety. Continuing the train of fantasy action shows, I'm late to jump on the Shangri-La Frontier train, but I'll be watching Season 2 as soon as I get done with Season 1. I'm in the middle of it right now. So far, it's a super fun show that oozes with love for gaming, and I actually decided to get into it also because of Anime NYC, because they had the panel there that was really interesting, getting to hear from the author and getting to see the questions and kind of the passion from the people who really liked it. That actually helped solidify my interest. I always knew about it, and I knew that it was well regarded, but I just never got around to it. And as long as I keep enjoying it and end up finishing the season, then I'll finish catching up and I'll give Season 2 a try. Next, we've got quick ones, also continuing on the more action side of things. We've got Dan to Dan and Uzumaki. I think they both look awesome, and they're both highly regarded, so I'll be checking them out. Simple as that. Very simple reasons. A lot of people say these are going to be really great, so I'll give them a try. And yeah, just to be clear, with any of these ones where I'm talking about what I plan to watch next season, I do want to be clear, saying that I'm planning to. That does not mean I'm going to finish all of these. If I don't enjoy it, I'm not going to force myself to go through it. And now, getting into one of the big ones, which is Dragon Ball Daima. I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball. I've written one post about it. That's just on my website if you want to get a taste of what kind of Dragon Ball fan I am. So yeah, as a big Dragon Ball fan, I'm going to be watching Dragon Ball Daima. This is the last work that from our late great Toriyama was directly involved in. So I really hope that this turns out excellent. From what we've seen so far, I think it'll be good. I hope the premise of everyone being turned small will be used well, and that the intention that it appears to have of feeling more like the original Dragon Ball with that, adventurous spirit and energy that was less serious, less action oriented. I would be very happy as Dragon Ball is my favorite part. So I always like that tone the most, and if they are capturing that, well, that'll be a huge W for me. And yeah, I'm really excited for it from the trailers and stuff. It looks really good. So I hope it ends up being really good. And to conclude with another simple one, after reading the synopsis and watching the trailer, I thought 365 Days to the Wedding sounded really cute. And I like that it's a romance with an adult cast. So I like romances. It's always great having ones that have more of an adult cast as well, because those tend to be rare. So I'm going to check this one out too. And with that, I have concluded my report on the summer 2024 anime season and my interest in the next. It's looking like I will have more than 6 things to talk about in my next roundup, hopefully. Please follow me if you want to see more, and thank you very much for listening. I have a Patreon if you would like to support me. You can get notifications even as a free person for when I post on the website, because I will make posts talking about what I put on the website there as soon as they go up. And if you are willing to be a paid member, I would appreciate the support, but no pressure. But you would be able to vote in a poll that is on my Patreon right now to prioritize one particular idea I have and make sure it gets turned into something sooner. And again, thank you very much.